Norland's big autumn update has been released to the main branch as of December 12th. Today I'll be covering all of the most important changes and one of the biggest updates of the year without all of that extra stuff. I'll also link the Steam announcement for the update in the description if you want to read along. So with all of that out of the way, let's discuss the big autumn update containing patches 43 through 45. We'll go ahead and start off with patch 43's new progression system. Previously, you could unlock knowledge in any order you chose, with the exception that certain knowledges had prerequisites. For instance, the alchemy lab requiring the herbalist first. Now you are limited to knowledge based on the population of your city. Some knowledges are standard and available to purchase from the start of the game, such as warehouses, but other knowledges require population of 20, 40, 55, 70, 85, and 100. This is a change that to me feels like it exists to remove player choice. It adds an arbitrary limitation to learning knowledge that decides the different paths a player can take, and will make most playthroughs feel very similar. While you can still specialize, you are very limited in which industries you can go into right away. Oddly, you can buy the mine at the start, but not the herbalist or even rye or hop fields, which all require 20 population. Not only this, but achieving a population permanently unlocks the knowledges in that level, regardless of death or other loss of population. This seems to contradict the developer's claim that it is to balance the game and prevent players from being buried by their problems. Another smaller issue is the knowledge trade screen, which is now extremely cluttered due to every book taking in the equivalent space of 4 or more books from the previous version. With the further expansion of knowledge that we'll talk about later, this makes looking through all of the available books a bit tedious. My biggest complaint with the new system is that it treats players like they can't make the decisions on what to research because they will get overrun with problems. While tech trees and requirements are of course common in colony builders, you should have more choice in what gets unlocked. If they wanted to group technologies by population stages, they could at least allow us to choose which technologies are unlocked with a given group, as well as what technologies we start with and can unlock with under 20 population. This way we could still unlock the herbalist early and get started on gathering right away, but we might have to sacrifice a bit more efficient food or alcohol supply, for instance. A stonecutter's camp, steel tools, stone, the sawshed, planks, and the Fletcher's workshop have also been added. The stonecutter's camp is used to mine stone, but needs 1 steel tool for every 5 stone produced. Steel tools look like the tools most of us are familiar with, but are not the same as the ones used to create weapons, paper, and upgrade buildings. Those now have an appearance reflecting the iron used to produce them, and the steel variant are created using steel. Stone is used to build high-level housing and to upgrade the hall. The sawshed is used to produce planks and firewood from regular wood. Planks replace or are used together with wood in building and crafting. Firewood is now used instead of regular wood to create coal. The Fletcher's workshop is used to produce bows and crossbows, while the old workshop is now used for creating maces. While the changes to wood production may appear at first to increase the amount of work needed to create coal, due to the extra step, this appears to be minimal since one worker can produce dozens of units of firewood daily. Overall, these are nice additions to the crafting system that should make the city experience more immersive and fun for those interested in that. Roads and dirt patches under houses now appear much nicer and more consistent, which makes road planning a lot more convenient. Field and pig farm fertility was reduced, especially carrot fields, but fertile soil is no longer a necessity. Trees grow slower and woodcutting is faster, while wood and wood products have had their prices increased, making it an easy money-making method in the early game. Droughts now raise food prices, allowing you to leverage your food stockpiles economically. You now get 7 meat from killing wolves, and meat prices have been increased, making hunting a decent source of income. Iron production in mines is now decreased to 1/3 of the original production speed when the main supply is depleted, instead of completely being emptied. The first politician in your city now appears when you have reached 40 population. The bishop no longer becomes a politician, and he can be turned into a puppet. Having good relations with the bishop is more useful now, as he can create loyalists for the king, or improve the mood of the populace with sermons. Also, repenting your sins can help improve your relations with them, and he can be brought on hunts. Politicians who have had their demands ignored will worsen relations with their king, before creating civil unrest. Cultures now come with their own characteristics. Macans have more money, Cadans carry a dagger and have a higher combat skill, Tanayans have higher chances to become fanatics and have higher thoughts from prayer, Varns are immune to rutabaga typhus and won't be attacked by wolves. The Scriptonic now brings books only from your culture. Prisoners have a higher chance of escape, especially if they are unhappy. After being kept in your city for 10 days, they gain the humility trait, which prevents escape. The next major change is the grouping of cities based on culture, which make up a region. Cadans are in the west, Tanayas in the north, Varns the east, and Macans are in the south. Conquering provinces of the same culture is easier, while different cultures are harder and more hostile to foreigners. I expect this will make it a lot easier to snowball, since you can easily conquer your own region and use those tributes to quickly gain power. Bandits no longer show up without reason, usually appearing as a consequence of war in neighboring provinces. They don't grow out of control as often either, but sometimes cause cutthroats to appear in your city directly along with the migrants. Knowledge known by someone in your province for 10 days becomes common knowledge, and won't be lost even if the one who learned it leaves or dies. This massively reduces the most tedious aspect of the mid and late game. Personally, I would like it if there was a way for the player to actively decide this, however. For instance, after learning it, you have a new option to teach it in the knowledge menu. The lord with the knowledge would then spend the time to teach it to the city at large. This is a great start though, and will remove a lot of micromanagement. Level 1 houses now have more of a comfort boost than level 2, which has more than level 3 since the residents have more space. Levels 4 and 5 focus on increasing that comfort again. There is now an icon over houses with workers who are upset due to travel times from living too far from their jobs. Squad banners now display the morale, so you don't have to look at their menu for it. The morale system has been tweaked as well, with friendly squad losses being a heavy hit to morale. The daily world summary report now includes rumors such as politicians becoming dissatisfied with their ruler, or lords preparing to leave cities. This will be nice to have, especially for playthroughs trying to avoid direct warfare when possible, as you can plan expansion through intrigues more easily. Politicians are now more likely to use the power vacuum created when a new ruler is crowned to rebel. Bribing these politicians starts a conspiracy instead of rebellions, which were too easy to support. If you have given peasants more food than they eat each day, it is stored in their homes and a notification will warn you about this. Crop yield is now increased on rainy days, but residents move even slower when not on roads. Vassal tribute was reduced, and market expansion now happens only in alliances, not kingdoms. AI cities now recover their armies slower after a defeat, instead of seemingly magically rebuilding overnight. Criminals can now migrate to your city directly when your neighbors are at war. You can either stop migration through your hall, or establish peace on all of your borders to prevent this. All intrigue options against foreign kingdoms are now grouped together in the political intrigue section of the options, including rebellion, slandering, and praising. Mercenaries now have their equipment displayed on top of their portraits before hiring. Woodcutters' camps now display the range their workers can efficiently cut trees. When there are no more trees in the area, a problem will be triggered. The AI now spends less money on their army. AI lords in cities with up to 90 residents will equip light armor, a spear, and shield. Prisoner uprisings have been disabled. Prisoners now feed themselves without a warden, as long as food is distributed to them. When placing residential buildings, comfort increasing and decreasing zones will be highlighted in green and red respectively. Excess food stored by residents in their homes is now displayed in the economy menu on a panel on the right side under food supplies. Lords will prioritize inspections more, and their current task will be reset at the start of the workday, which should make them start their inspections properly. And that just about sums up the biggest changes in this patch. If you're a fan of Norland and want to keep up to date on the latest news, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. And as always, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.